All right. Hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Knit State of Mind podcast. It's been a while. Thanks for waiting and being patient with us, but we're excited to be back. This is episode 36. Today is Saturday. Nope, it's not Saturday. It feels like the weekend.
Yeah, it isn't. It's Friday.
Friday, February 16th, and I am Wanda, and
I'm Heather.
we're the Knit State of Mind podcast. You can find us as Knit State of Mind. We have a Ravelry page that we don't really use, and then also Instagram. And on Instagram, I guess I've just been using Knit State of Mind.
Yeah, and I mostly use my personal Instagram, which is Heather T3. And yeah, we're excited to be back. We're on a bi-monthly schedule. Right?
Yeah, we were aiming for monthly, but I guess it's
Well,
been about 2 months now. Oh,
yeah.
and then Ravelry Waddy Watt.
Yes, and I'm Heather T on Ravelry.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
So, do we want to do any updates or do we want to dive in? How are we feeling?
I'm good. I think I'm excited because I have the day off today. So that's exciting. Long weekend. And yeah, I mean, I think we should dive right in.
All right. So, I guess I can start. How does that feel?
Yeah, sounds good.
Um, I was still working on this last podcast. This is a modified version of the Heirloom sweater by Fabel Knitwear. I think her name is Helene Arneson. And this is I've knit this, so some episodes ago you would have seen it in red. I knit this. It's a lace panel, a beautiful lace panel going through the center. But I kind of wanted the design of that sweater, and so I knit it without the lace and was just taking my chances and kind of winged it along the way. I wish I had taken better notes. But this is the finished version.
Oh, it looks great. I love
You can
it.
see that sleeve detail.
Yeah.
And it's twisted rib at the bottom as well. So the neckline, I didn't do it as long as the pattern called for. I still feel a little torn or iffy on that decision.
I
But
like
it's kind of,
it.
you do? Okay, thank you.
I mean,
It's kind of somewhere in between being a mock neck and a crew neck,
yeah.
I suppose. And I don't know what this sleeve is called, but it's a different construction. And she somewhat warned you when you're knitting, you might think you're starting too soon, stopping too soon, going out with this vertical line. And I kept going. I kind of wish I would have stopped sooner, but it's okay. It hits at a reasonable place, but I think it's supposed to hit a bit higher up.
Okay.
Um, and then what's I guess the what would be the raglan goes straight up and down instead of diagonally. Just a reminder, the yarn is fingering and mohair silk held double. It was Sans Garn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the electric blue and Tilia, I forget the brand, was the
Lana,
mohair.
Lana.
Ficolana was the mohair and the cobalt blue. And so I don't know. I think with mohair fingering, I've been using US 6 and that's worked out for me. My numbers are not exactly to pattern because I wanted it to be a bit bigger and I definitely knit the sleeves. I just find that I'm more comfortable when I have a bit more space in my sleeves. Um,
Yeah. So
so
you don't move around.
yeah, I love it. I don't know if there's much there. There's some short rows as well, but I feel like I always get this situation going on. I need to figure out um,
It
what I
almost
need to
seems like
do.
a little bit more difference between the back and the front, maybe. I don't know.
So I need a few more short rows maybe in the back.
I don't know. Um,
That
I don't,
happens on a lot of my garments.
but I've
Yeah.
noticed that happens on. I have like a commercially bought sweater that does that too. So I don't think it's. I don't know. Yeah.
It's a minor thing that
Yeah.
I notice, right? It's not that serious. So,
So
yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I'm
Thank
curious to
you.
try out one of her patterns, and that also because I think she has a few that have that same sleeve
Hmm.
construction. I really like how that looks.
Yeah, she uses it quite a bit. It just gives it a little bit of a different touch.
Mhm.
So I like it.
All right.
And is this is an FO, right?
Oh
I
yeah,
think I know what it is.
this is another Lento.
I knew it.
Where you're about to see that this whole episode is basically going to be me being a follower influenced by other people. I don't know. I know there's like a huge Lento knit along going on.
Hmm.
That's actually
Hmm.
not why I made this. Ever since I made my yellow one, I have been in mind to make this one. I think so real quick before I forget. So this is a Lento by Jonna Hietala. It was in an issue of Lina magazine a few years ago. And this is, I had to pull it up because I forgot to write it down. Um,
Hmm.
Sundara yarn fingering merino. It took about a skein and like 2/3 of that. And then Biches, Buches, le petit silk and mohair,
Hmm.
about 3 skeins of that. And first I will say I loved this. I've been using Knit Picks mohair for a lot of stuff. I've been like on a mohair kick. I do love the Knit Picks mohair, but then when I use this Biches Bouche mohair, I was like,
Hmm.
oh, I can see why it's like a little bit more expensive, and it just felt
Hmm.
really nice to knit with. Um, anyway, so this is Lento. I love. We talked about last time when I made my yellow one that I really like. This is my favorite raglan pattern because I find that the yoke depth is like exactly right. It's a lot of times. I think because I have a larger bust size, the yoke depth often ends up being too deep for me, and
Hmm.
then it just like feels kind of sloppy.
Hmm.
So differences. So I did this the same as I did the yellow one, where I cast on the size 2. I forget how many sizes there are, maybe like 7, but I cast on the size 2, and then about halfway through the yoke, I started doing double increases on the front so that the front would end up being the same as the size 4. And then after I split for the sleeves, I
Hmm.
cast on one more time. I did one more double decrease or double increase, and then I knit for a bit, and then I decreased out those extra increases. So by the bottom, it was back to the size 2, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, I know there's like fancy ways to do bust starts and stuff, and I am lazy, so did not do that. I just did a couple extra increases. And I also knit this one to be about an inch longer than my other one. I found
Hmm.
that my other one was just like I was always pulling it down because it was like a little bit too short. So
Hmm.
that's how that looks like. I feel like it's pretty good length.
Yeah,
Um,
that's good.
yeah, so I'm really happy with it. I did it on size 8, my trusty Clover
Hmm.
needles. Um, and I can also see the other reason I think people love knitting this pattern is because it just like it. I knit it in 9 days, and
Oh, 9 days.
yeah,
Wow.
it's like a joy to knit, right? It's just
Yeah. No, it's been coming up a lot. There's a make along. Are you submitting it for that?
no, I don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just was like, oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to make another one, and
Just for the joy of it.
yeah,
Yeah. No, I will see how long I hold out before I end up making one. I love the idea. I want to try making something striped, and so
mhm,
I love the idea of using that pattern.
mhm,
I've seen some people do that to create
right,
stripes. So that might be what gets me to do it
yeah.
and to join the club.
Well, and I also feel like, I mean, I can see also now having made 2 of these why people keep making the same pattern over and over because I
Mm,
have notes now. I know like exactly how many rows it is from here. Now that I figured out the right,
mm.
so it would be really easy to do stripes because I could figure out how many stripes I want to do and divide it by, and just happened for my preferences and size that the sleeves are the exactly same amount of rows as the body. And so
Oh,
that like would help out with that whole striping situation too. So,
yeah.
but
No, I mean, it's a really good point. I think I have rough notes for this one. So far our theme is like repeat knits,
right.
repeat sweater.
I'm looking, I don't have any other repeats, but yeah.
Yeah. Um, any other FOs or garments? I
I do. I have two. Do you have any others?
I have three accessories.
Oh my goodness. Well, I have garment. Should I show that and then we can
Say
move?
that again?
I have one more garment. Do you want me to show?
Yeah. Show the garment.
So this is not, it's not quite finished, but almost. It's actually really wet and heavy right now because it was blocking and it didn't dry in time. And I did also, I finished a couple other things like that were given as gifts, and I finished a baby blanket that I already gave to the recipient and stuff. So, but this is a little bit of a story. So this is not I don't know if this is pronounced un or how it's pronounced. I think the designer might be Norwegian, but November Knits this pattern. EUN is the spelling, that un or aun sweater. And I had seen this on Instagram maybe in like December that the pattern was going to be coming out. And I just was like obsessed with it because of this big, like,
that is cute. Yeah.
So, but at the time, and it was also really cold here at that time. So I was like, I need a big cozy sweater, but the pattern wasn't out yet. So this pattern was maybe released like not that long ago, like a month ago or less. So I was impatient. So I was like, I want to make like a big cozy sweater like that, but the pattern's not out yet. And I actually have yarn for that. I am still planning to make it. So I was looking for another pattern that was similar because I needed to make it right then. So I ended up making the Terrazzo sweater by Petite Knit, and making it with a split hem. So once this pattern came out, I had not gotten to the hem yet. So I bought this pattern to see how she had done the edging on the split hem because I thought that looked really nice. So this is a mashup of those two patterns. It's so heavy. It's like, anyway, so Petite Knit Terrazzo sweater with the split hem, like in the Un sweater.
It's delicious.
And so I started this in December, and then it was in the naughty pile for a while, and I'll tell you why. So it's twisted rib for the collar and the cuffs and everything. So you start here, and then you knit and you go back and do the collar. So I started, this is Rowan. Okay, so first of all, I knit it from stash, and I had some Rowan felted tweed in a color that's kind of similar to this, and a mohair. They were slightly different colors, like the mohair is a little more blue and the felted tweed was a little more green. Did I have enough of either yarn to make this large cozy sweater? No, I did not. Did that stop me from starting it? Also, no. So the first problem was that I started it and I got to the sleeve split and I was basically like, oh, there's no way I'm going to have enough yarn for this. So I had to order a little bit more yarn. And then it came, and of course it was different dye lots. So then I had to strategize about how to make that work. Then I went back and picked up the neck, which is a very large, like, turtleneck. And the pattern says to do it in a smaller needle than the body. And I did that, and it was super tight. I just felt like I was like choking. So I had to pull that all out, which of course it was mohair, so it was hard to pull out. So that's when I like put it aside. So finally, a few weeks ago, I went back to it and I fixed that and then finished the rest. So I'm very excited for it to dry. I haven't woven in the ends yet because I just wanted to see if the length was right before I wove it the rib a little bit longer. But because now I have more than enough yarn because I ordered more.
Yeah, it's really cozy. I've been feeling the like oversized vibe, like just cuddle up in your knits. So that'll be a good one for that.
Yeah, so it doesn't feel cozy right now because it's wet.
It's wet.
But it will be cozy when it's
delayed gratification.
Exactly. And I am very excited because, like I said, I do have yarn
for that. What do you want to share what your plan is for it, or I'm putting you on the spot?
Oh yeah, no, I have some yarn. It's from, I think, Swan's Island. Swan's Island is a place in Portland, but I think there's also a yarn company called Swan Island or Swan something or other. Anyway, and the yarn company has nothing to do with Portland, I don't think. But anyway, I have a bunch of this cream colored yarn that I originally bought to make I had a long line, like very lightweight cream colored cardigan that I lost in a cab.
Mm.
I bought this yarn to try to like recreate it, and then I decided I didn't want to. So I have that and some mohair that I'm going to use.
So is it DK weight or
It's more of a worsted gauge. And
worsted? Yeah.
I think if I hold 2 strands of that fingering, because I have a lot of it, because it was for a long cardigan, and 1 strand of the mohair, I think that should
Okay.
work.
I want to look that one up. I
Yeah.
want to, yeah, it looks like a good one.
So anyway,
Cool.
your accessories.
So I'll share my accessories. They're not too exciting, but um, here's accessory number one. And
Ooh,
I've been wearing these things, so
are those mitts?
this is a
Oh,
headband.
it's a headband. Sorry, I was like.
I will not put this on. But I had this in my queue for a while. I had fallen in love with it. It's the is that centered? Now it's centered.
Mhm.
It's the Kiila. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Kiila headband. Um, the designer is I think it's Sana Co. Let me see.
I've definitely seen that pattern before.
Yeah, Sana and Co.
Me or
Sana and Co. And I just used leftovers from when I made my Vertices Unite.
Mhm,
And she has two ways, so you get two ways to do the pattern. One is like a textured pattern
mhm.
that has some pearl bumps in it, and the other is a fade. So this is actually meant to be the fade version, and I
Hmm.
contemplated making that, but I decided to
Yeah,
just use this yarn. I mean,
I like it. I mean,
it
it
looks great
reminds.
like that.
Yeah. Is it?
But so I've worn it a couple of times. I don't think I can wear it.
Why not?
I think it dries my hair out too much.
Oh no, because it's wool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like not soft wool.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Because
interestingly, the original pattern is Jameson and Smith.
yeah.
This is Queensland, so there's some cotton in the black, and then
Mhm,
this is the Knit Picks palette.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if you made it in like a wool silk blend
Hmm.
or like a cotton silk blend, if that would be better.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then I was like, is there a way I can line this with
Yeah.
satin? Like, can
Yeah.
I get small enough strips to make it work? Because I really do like it. Um, I
Yeah.
just feel like that palette has, you can't catch it on
Yeah.
camera, but it has such depth to it.
Mhm.
Anyway, so that's that. Oh, and I started that because I was craving some color work,
Mhm.
and that gave me a little color work fix. But
Right.
I'm still craving color work, but that did give me a fix. The next one again, we're doing they're just boring accessories,
Yeah.
but you know,
Everyone needs accessories though. It's not boring.
I've been into accessories lately, so here's the next boring accessories.
I am like floored by the fact that you made gloves. Like the idea of making fingers to gloves. It's just like I can't even.
You know, it's fun to experience at least once.
Oh my
So
gosh,
you knew
great.
it fit me well, and it's like a thumb gusset,
Yeah.
right? So they're really comfy and cozy. So I told you about these, but you hadn't seen them. I made these for Christmas for
Mhm.
Mark. Secretly,
Mhm.
I tried to make them secretly. I can't remember how long it took me, but I want to say maybe I got them done in a week.
You did them really fast because that was also like we had talked on our last episode. We were both like, we're not making any gifts for anybody. And then I ended up making 3 pairs of socks.
I remember that.
And you made
We,
those. Yeah.
exactly. We were texting about that. And I used my hands and I was like, his hands are a little bit bigger than mine. Hopefully this works out. I didn't like weave in the finger ends. Oh, did I say this is basic glove free pattern Harry Wells?
Okay.
I don't know, but free pattern. I use the Cloudborn Highland Sport. I think
Okay.
we both had some of
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
And at first you can still kind of see you start with the pinky, and when I did the first pinky, I was like, oh, like I was kind of tense, and I was like, I got to make sure, I
Yeah.
was in my head, and it came out really, so I had to block it out.
Yeah.
It fits,
Yeah.
but it came out, like, you can tell,
Yeah.
proportionally really a lot smaller.
But your pinky is also proportionally a lot smaller than your other.
Exactly. So it's fewer stitches. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be smaller, but I was kind of like, I want to make sure this looks like a glove, and so knitting kind of tightly. And then my last one, just an update, I finally finished these.
All right.
I've been wearing them, so they look a little. So here we are. This
Look,
was leftover yarn from Shifty.
okay. The
And
lamb
so
string. Yeah.
yeah, the lamb strings, tra la la socks. So I said that with those leftovers, I'd just make some socks. Nothing really to port here. One is bigger than the other.
I mean, I have one foot that's slightly bigger than the other, do you? But I never can
I,
remember to put the bigger sock on the bigger foot. Yeah.
yeah, I do. And I can never remember when I wear certain shoes, I'm reminded that one foot is bigger. See, you can tell here.
Oh, yeah. But that's not that bad. I mean, they
It's
stretch.
not.
Yeah.
It is what it is. All right. That was my accessory. Those were my accessories.
I do have one accessory also. So this year, I had never in my life gotten a yarn advent before. And I did this year, and I had ordered it right before I moved, and it was kind of my thing of like, oh, I'm going to order this and it's going to get sent to my new address, and that was like exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So I had ordered the Sweet Sparrow Yarns Advent, and it was 10-gram minis, and it ended up being a mix of tweed minis, sparkly minis, and then just like regular ones. So I took all the tweeds and I made scrappy socks.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So I'm really happy with how they came out.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of I balled them all up, and then actually I should have brought it over, but I found out because I was down at my mom's house at the time that I started these, and I was having, because I was like not at home, I was having a hard time like staying organized because I wanted to keep the color sequence consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So the 10-gram minis fit perfectly in an egg carton. So I like numbered the egg carton, thingies or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and I put one little ball in each. So if you're doing anything with minis, I recommend the egg carton to
That's
organize.
clever. I love it.
So yeah, it's they came out really great. Weaving in the ends was a nightmare. So the knitting on these has been finished probably since like January 2nd, and I just wove in the last ends like earlier this week because I knew we were about to be recording.
Mm-hmm. That's motivation there.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, so I haven't worn them yet, but I'm quite happy with how they turned out. In terms of the Advent, like I really liked the yarn, but I found that I guess I'm not really an Advent person because I often would like forget to open it, and then like the next day I would be like, oh, I forgot to open my.
You forget you're supposed to be excited and rushing to open your advent calendar.
I think I just realized like I'm not a person that like is like
Yeah.
motivated by that daily type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I really enjoyed it for this year, and I'll definitely probably make some more scrappy socks with the other ones that I got. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a good use of it. Nice.
lots of
Whew.
working on.
All right. All of my whips would be new whips for
Yeah.
you. And how about you?
I mean, mine too, except for my blanket. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, do we want to start least exciting or most exciting?
let's go least exciting to most exciting.
Okay,
We'll
we'll go.
alternate your least exciting one and my least exciting one.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Um, so I debated if I would even share this one, and it's I don't know. everything it can be exciting when the time for it comes. But initially I was excited and now it's just hanging. So I'll show you. Actually, yeah, let's have some fun. What do we think this is? Or is going to be?
Well, it could be a blanket or a circular shawl or like a table. Not a doily because a doily is lacy, but like a thing that goes in the middle of a
Hmm.
table. Uh, it could be, there's a couple sweater patterns that have like a medallion on the back, but I feel like that would be exciting. So
Garments are exciting. So
a
we'll
rug could be a rug, but it's kind of thin to be a rug. So I don't know. What is
um it's going to be, so the pattern is a cushion.
Okay.
It's called logging off,
Okay.
which I really like because it has two connotations, right? So you're actually supposed to use this side as the right side.
Hmm.
So when you look at it, the si- oh, I wish I can pull up a picture. The sides of the cushion looks like tree bark, and
Okay.
this looks like the cutout from the tree, the rings of a
They're gross
tree.
things. Here, I'll see if I can find a picture.
Yeah. So actually on camera, I kind of like this side, but I was thinking I'm gonna go with this side. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
By Shayna Cohen.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna go with the knit side, which looks a little bit less like the rings.
Mhm.
But anyway, so I started this. I got really excited when I first started it. Because I'm using the pattern. I was looking for circular patterns like this because I wanted to make my own Zafu meditation cushion.
Mhm.
So what I have the insert, it's buckwheat hulls. Um, and so I'm going to knit this into a meditation and use it as a meditation cushion. But what happened was, and I knew it going in, I just didn't know how much, is that I had to keep increasing more than the pattern
Mhm.
requires. And now I have a crap load of stitches here. It's like 400 stitches.
Mhm.
And I'm not yet at the circumference that I need.
Mhm.
And I can get there
Yeah.
easily, right?
Yeah.
And you get to this point pretty quickly. But once I got here and I kept increasing, I was like, because I thought I was going to finish this in like a week or two.
Right.
It's worsted weight.
Yeah.
I was rolling. But anyway, the yarn, it gave me the perfect opportunity. We've talked about this yarn before. No shade, but
Right.
um, you order yarn online.
Color you wanted. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's perfect for this logging off pattern.
Right. Yeah.
I'm using that. It's Blue Sky Fibers wool stock worsted.
Mhm.
And then on the sides, you mix in some brown fingering weights. I'm just going to use some of the Knit Picks palette that I have. So that's sitting right now.
Can I ask a question? So
Yeah.
this side part, do you knit that on kind of like how you do the applied edge of a shawl, or do you knit it separately and sew it?
I'm trying to remember. You knit it apply, you knit it on. And you knit both of these sides. And
And then,
then you join the second one though.
okay.
You join the second one and you put the stuffing in
Hmm.
and finish it off. So that's the other part that's a little bit like,
But
well,
that's
I
actually,
can't,
if you
I
had to,
can't
if
say
you
that
had,
again.
oh, I was just going to say, if you had to seam it, for me at least, it would like sit forever once I got done with the knitting. So at least if you're like closing it up as you're knitting, I feel like,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But
yeah.
you can't, I mean, you got to put in work if you want to open it back up and switch
That's,
out your stuffing.
yeah.
So, but yeah, that one's sitting. It was initially exciting and now it's not.
All right. Well, I guess I'll show my blanket just because everybody's seen that before. And this blanket and we're in a better place now, but a few weeks ago, I was just like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to keep doing it, but I
I
powered
remember.
through. And now I only have about 9 weeks to go. So I'm like, okay, I can do it. So the whole thing is like about almost probably close to 6 feet tall now, but I'll just show you so the last time we recorded, I had actually thought I was going to be putting in the pink that day, but it turned out that the high was like 41 that day. So I think we were somewhere down here last time we recorded.
That's where we were?
I know, right? It really does show the passage of time because this was like this huge chunk of the light green is basically like the whole month of December. And then right before Christmas, we had a couple days that were actually in the 20s. And so then that's very unusual here. So I've been planning to use the pink for the 30s, but then I was like, well, I want the pink to be the lowest temperature. Yes. So I had to text Jonna and get advice, but I ended up going with pink for the 20s and then this cream color. You can't always see it there, but it comes back up here. This cream color for the 30s. So yeah, I've got, I have 9 weeks left until it's done. And I think we're supposed to have a couple more days in the 30s next week. And then after that, it should be just light green and yellow green and maybe a little bit of a darker 60 degrees for the time. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I won't show the whole thing, but
you're disciplined. You are so disciplined.
I will say I used to be very diligent about like every night when I got home from work, I would do the one from the previous day. Now I'm letting like 2-3 days pile up and doing them all at once. But I'm trying to make sure always by the weekend I'm caught up.
Yeah. How does that feel? Do you feel like you're catching up or you just feel like, oh, I'm just crocheting on my temperature blanket?
Yeah, no, I don't feel like I think if I let it go past the weekend, like that's one thing that's been good about posting it on Instagram every week is that I just like have kept up with it because I know there's people out there who'll be like, where's your blanket on Saturday? So anyway, and I am glad that I have kept up with it. But I'm also excited for it to be done.
Yeah, that's the both and of it, right? Yeah. Cool. So we're going to keep going back and forth.
Yeah, let's keep going back and forth.
All right. I guess this one is a toss up because my excitement around these are for different reasons, but I'll do this one next. It's hard. You can't really see what's going on here, but.
Well, it looks like mohair, which looks delightful.
You can see it better when you stretch it and you wear it, right?
Yeah.
But this is a Manhattan Hat Light by Tori Knits, I think Tori U. And I already had the pattern. I wanted to make it. I was really excited. I like another pattern that's been coming up on IG and YouTube and such. Yeah. But then she posted that she was having the Manhattan cow. And so I got excited about that. And some of y'all know, like, I'm from Manhattan. I'm from Harlem originally. So just kind of representing. Yeah. But anyway, I didn't make it. The cow ended this Monday. And so I got to a point where I was like, I'm just knitting it because I want to knit it and it's fine. But anyway, so I have leftover bits of fingering and mohair from projects, right? So I decided, I was like, this could be really nice. It's actually it's my favorite sweater, I think because of the color, interestingly. It's one of my favorite sweaters.
Yeah.
This is the yarn from the Ula. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's just some Cloudborn merino. We both bought that. Fingering merino and Knit Picks Aloft. And it's 1x1 rib. I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing the single fold. I
Mm-hmm.
like I like how the ribbing looks on this side better,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can kind of see the difference.
Yeah, mine's the same way. My one by one ribbing always looks better on the back side, which is good for a
Yeah.
hat that folds up.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and I'm using the Clovers US
Mhm.
2. Yeah, and this is kind of the knit right now that is the palette cleanser, the easy knit to pick up
Yeah,
when I don't have to focus.
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
gonna be cozy. It's gonna be, yeah, be good.
Yeah. I'm also anticipating the fact that we might be going skiing,
That's right. Hopefully.
and it might be a good one for that.
Yeah,
Because it's warmer than other ones because it has the mohair in it.
yeah. And if it fits, if it folds up, then I find that sometimes fits more tightly if it has the fold.
Mm-hmm.
Better
Mm-hmm.
too.
So that's what
Yeah.
we're shooting for.
Woohoo. Oh, I might have to make a new hat for that also. Think about that.
I know you have your yellow one that you made after you
Yeah,
made that lento.
I do, but that one is actually not that as warm because I think I should have knit it at a tighter gauge for the yarn that I used.
Hmm.
So it's okay, but I don't know that I would wear it for skiing. But this is actually, this might be good for that. So I'll just transition to
All
this.
right.
So we, as you saw on my blanket, the temperature has been in the 40s, I mean, whatever, it's the winter in Oregon, it's always in the 40s. But we've had quite a few mornings at school where it's been in the 30s or even like the upper 20s. And, we're outside at arrival time or outside at morning recess, and it's quite cold. um,
Mm-hmm.
for me, as a West Coast person, it's probably not cold for people who live in the Midwest or in Canada, but for me, it's cold. So I was talking to somebody at work the other day about how I needed like a balaclava. And so then I was like, I'm just going to knit a balaclava. So this is another one where I was just influenced by what I saw other people doing on it, making the nomad hood
Mm.
by Suzanne Mueller. And I have just barely started. So this is like the top
Oh.
piece of it, and then I'm almost done increasing, and then this is going to be the top of my head basically, and then it comes down.
Nice. You gotta wear this one.
Yeah,
Wear this one. We'll do our like pinks and
yeah, that's what
magentas and
so I'm obsessed with this yarn. This is Wandering Flock. Um, Wandering Flock. This is like a singles, which I'm not normally that into singles, but I really like this. A singles merino fingering, electric orchid, and then mohair, lace mohair, silk mohair in the color electric orchid, same color. And I had ordered this as a kit last year just was planning to make hats. I ordered a couple different colors.
got it.
But then I was like, I think I'm sure I'll have enough to still make the whole thing. So anyway, that just started that the other day, so not very much progress, but that might be because we can be twins.
Yes. Well, we might have to get Laura to make something
Yeah.
or bring something for
Laura
her.
required to have a 1x1 or half ribbed hat.
Yes. We'll send a text later.
Yeah.
All right. So this next one I'm excited about because it's something different. Um, I'm in accessories mode, apparently. So it's another accessory. And I still, okay. This is, I'm knitting this for someone else for a trade.
Oh, you told me about this, but I haven't.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love it. Like I've been approached by a few people now to do trades, and I think it really feels like an alignment as I've been thinking about like mutual care and alternative economies and such. And it makes me feel kind of like warm and fuzzy inside, right? Like, oh, I have a skill that I can share with others, and other people have talents and skills that they can share with me.
Mhm.
and really expanding our understandings of like resources, right?
Mhm.
Everything doesn't have to operate based on cash and credit, basically. Um, not my colors, out of my comfort zone in terms of patterns for me, but very fun. And I'm learning a lot of new things. I haven't done like any of these stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and show you
Okay.
because Heather's been in suspense for months now.
Where I knew this was happening, but I didn't know any of the decisions that got made.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the decisions. It's been a process. But anyway,
Oh, oh my gosh, so many interesting stitches. Like, what a good way also to experiment with something you might not normally wear yourself, but you could like do such cool techniques.
exactly. Exactly. And I find that, I mean, I'll never get tired of knitting for myself, but I enjoy knitting. And so there are but so many things I need in
Right.
my wardrobe. So it's good to just be able to explore and experiment. Um, so yeah, we have different things going on here, but this is going to be a cowl. It's going to be seamed at the end. I knew I was working with blue because I spoke with this person, and actually I told them, I was like, I noticed you wear a lot of blue. We've had it was kind of a ongoing conversation about making them something. And the first time around we came up with a pattern that I determined was a little too involved for our trade. So
Mhm.
that's the other thing, right? You're thinking about that. But what I did was I gave them options. We had 2 rounds of me giving them options. And so this time I thought about something that would be kind of the equivalent of making socks,
Mhm.
but they wanted a shawl, scarf, or
Mhm.
cowl. And I felt like this was almost the equivalent of making socks. It's a little bit more than that, but
Mhm.
um it's called the Killer Queen Cow
Okay.
by Lyrical Knits, Mary
Mhm.
Annarella.
Yeah.
New designer to
Yeah.
me. The original is knit with Malabrigo Rios.
Mhm.
And for this, I had to buy new yarn. And I am trying to move towards like non superwash yarns and just being conscientious of my choices. And, just thinking about our ecology and those sorts of things without going into too much detail. Personal choice. So the challenge is that the pattern is knit with either 2 or at least 1 variegated yarn.
Mhm.
And I was having a really hard time finding worsted weight, non superwash, variegated
Yeah.
yarn. And I'm telling y'all, I was in and out of all of our local stores probably multiple times. I took photos of different combinations. I was like, maybe I'll just do some solids and use Baroque, like,
Yeah.
and then I was online. And so finally, I got this blue color. The other thing too is it's starting to felt already because what I did was I got single ply
Mhm.
yarn.
Mhm.
It's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I've went through so much to
Yeah.
figure out yarns.
Yeah.
But the blue is Malabrigo's worsted, which
Mhm.
is non-superwash. It's the
Okay.
Buscando color.
Mhm.
It's this pretty rich blue, but not quite a royal blue, but not a navy.
Mhm.
And then I had gotten a Noro Korean,
Mhm.
and I started and I was like, I don't like this.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not variegated, it's color shifting.
It's color shifting, and it's also like the way it color shifts is like very unpredictable. I have
Yeah,
found. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I have that in my stash. If anyone wants it, wants to trade, let me know. But I'll find something to use it for as well. And then what happened? Sorry, I'm giving this whole story. So then I was in and out of stores and I was like, I need a contrast color. And there's another color by Malabrigo that I love, Wales Road, which is like a purple bluish,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew it wouldn't contrast
Mm-hmm.
enough. And I was on like a purple magenta. I thought like a reddish variegated looked really nice, but it's just so hard when you're choosing for someone else because I would have liked that. And I have the DK Rasta Tita, the smaller Rasta Malabrigo. So finally, I messaged the person and I said, "What color would you want with your blue?" And they were like, "I don't know, green, yellow." And so I was like, I need to make some decisions. And worsted, the non-superwash didn't really have variegated. And then I thought this was going to have multiple colors in it, but it's just multiple shades of green. I actually really love this
Yeah, but it's
color.
tonal, so I think it has the same feel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would use this personally for something for me, but this is washted. So I gave in and I got
Oh, uh-huh.
the superwash, and
Mhm.
it's thinner. Like you can tell the difference. It feels a lot thinner, and anyway,
But yeah, it looks good.
that's where we are, and I hope she likes it. These are
Yeah.
the colors that she mentioned. So it's broken into three parts.
Mhm.
It's
Is it mosaic? Like are the
it's
little
mosaic.
color work or slip stitches? Okay.
It's all mosaic.
Okay.
Is it all mosaic? I think it's all
Yeah.
mosaic. But all of these were. This is new. This is
Mhm.
new. This is new.
Mhm. Yeah, nice. I mean, it's interesting what you're saying about I was actually just thinking, I mean, I've one of the things I've been trying to do this year is not have so many projects going at the same time because I find that I do like enjoy it more. Like the reason I got this done in 9 days was that's basically like all I worked on. And then I switched to
Mhm.
finishing up the Terrazzo and then I was able to get that done in like 3-4 days.
Mhm.
It's already been started, but and I don't like I'm tired of having stuff just like languishing around, but part of the
Mhm.
problem is that like what you said, I don't actually need any of the stuff that I make for myself. So I am trying to
Mhm.
think about like what do I really want to wear and then what would, if someone asked me for something like what would they really want and
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it's that balance now, right? And feeling it out because there are still things we want for ourselves and things we might realize we need, and then um to what is it? To like get that fix,
Right.
we can knit things for other people. But only if it feels right. Like I don't want to be stressed about it. So the person I'm trading this with, we have an agreement. Like I'm not rushing.
Right. When it's done, it's done.
When
And
it's done, it's done. And so that's how I'm trying to operate with it
yeah.
as well.
Yeah. And I think the other thing for me, and this goes into, well, some plans, but whatever, I'll talk about it, is that I want to be able, a lot of times when I really want to knit something for myself, it's because it's something that is like a style that I either am finding I want to wear right then, either because like right now, because I'm living in a colder climate and I'm finding that I need warmer
Mm-hmm.
colors, or because there's just like something that's like stylish or like a new, like I just
Yes.
the preview for the new pom pom and I'm like, I want everything in there and I want to
Yes.
feel like I can just like make one of those things right when I get the magazine, right?
Yes.
And so if I don't feel weighed down by everything else I have going on, I can be like, I would like a darker colored lento. Let me just make that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it. I
Yeah.
mean, that resonates with me. That definitely resonates.
Well, I have one more whip. This one is kind of boring, so I didn't really follow directions about going from more to least interesting. But I'm making just some 3x1 ribbed socks. 1x1 rib cuff, 3x1 rib. I have partridge heel. I can believe it or not, this is the only pair of socks that I have worked on in 2023, and I normally
Wow.
20 pairs of socks a year, and I still haven't even finished one. It's kind of crazy. This is Olan yarn, sock light in the color milk. Looks like that. This was in the sale bin at my local yarn store a while ago. So anyway, I have 2 of them. I'm just on the foot.
Oh, got it.
Should be done.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, I'm just working on them, off and on.
I need to try 3x1 and Eye of Partridge. I love the way it looks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did it because on this one because of the amount of stitches that were on the heel, and I thought it would work better. But because these, I started off making them with 64 stitches, which is what I usually do. But this yarn is very, very light fingering, and I felt like it was small, so I made 68, and then I had a different amount on the heel than I normally would. So,
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have one more.
Oh, let me see your one more.
This is my most exciting. And now I'm kind of like, maybe I should have shared it sooner.
No, I thought, yeah, we probably should. Well, whatever.
I am so thrilled about this one. I am so thrilled. I bought it once it was released. This was back in November or December. And I'm using yarn that feels very exciting for me. I love everything about this. Just, I like to set things up. I've had this yarn for a while. This is the last of my mohair that I've had in my stash. And I've been waiting for something to speak to me to use the yarn. I wanted to use the yarn on something special. And so I finally cast this on. I'm going to show you.
What is that? I feel like I know what pattern that is.
So here's the front. Let me show you the sleeves.
Oh my god.
See this?
Yes, I know what I can't think of it, but I remember you showing me that pattern and saying you wanted to make it. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. It's twisted stitches and everything you love.
It's everything I love. So when you were sharing about wanting to be able to cast on right away, something because you like the style of it, that's what I was thinking of, this. So this is the Helia sweater by Joanna Ng. It came out, I think, December. But yeah, I haven't, this is the Biches. And I've had this. If you go way back, I had other plans for this. This is the Isayur Tweed. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's so delicious.
Anyway, a moment too.
Say that again. Oh, yep.
Moment also. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, this is actually considered sport weight, and I think it's single ply though, but I think holding it with the mohair helps.
Yeah.
And they might both be considered mustard. So the sweater is a little fuzzy because this is 70% wool and 30% mohair already.
Oh, okay.
Interestingly. But anyway, folded neckline. Oh, I also ripped this out like 3 times because I was like, I really love this pattern. I really love this sweater, and I want it to be exactly how I want it.
Yeah, yeah.
So what I did was the collar, the neckline is done in US 4. And then she has what I ended up doing, I ripped it out for different reasons each time, but I ended up joining it using the US 4, and the pattern doesn't ask you to do that. But I wanted to avoid, for me, I was kind of getting holes and gaps. And then the body's supposed to be knit on US 7. And I started on US 7 and I got pretty far, and I wanted a bit of a denser fabric. And I wanted the cables to pop a bit more, so I changed to a US 6. And US 6 has been, for most of my fingering mohair sweaters, that's worked out. And it also gets me closer to gauge. I'm 1 stitch off on gauge. So I ripped it out for those 2 reasons, like 3 times. Um, and I love it. Like you said, it has all of the elements that I like.
Mhm.
Like the body is a regular stockinette, but it has the twisted
Mhm.
stitches going down the raglan and it keeps going
Mhm.
down the sides and it has a split hem and then it has the cables going down the sleeves. So hopefully it'll still be a little bit oversized, even though I'm using the US 6. It's
Mhm.
supposed to be a little bit oversized, which is what I'm liking right now. It'll be super warm, but I think the color is a great transition from
Yeah.
winter to spring.
Mhm.
And what else? Do I have anything else to share about it?
But you can wear it as outerwear, basically, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we do here. It's outerwear. Yeah. Oh, I'm debating if I want to knit the sleeves first.
Mm.
Um, and because it's gonna be a process. It's all cables. So I'm contemplating knitting the sleeves first and then knitting the body.
I mean, I find that easier anyways. I did not do that on the Lento because I knit it so fast, but normally I do knit the sleeves first anyway because it gets like hard to turn if you have the whole body of the sweater. When you're just working on a sleeve, it just I find that it goes faster if you don't have the whole body of the sweater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited to see that finished.
Me too.
Awesome. Yeah. Um, well, I don't have any other whips, but I do have one thing that I brought over for plans.
Okay.
It's so funny. I mean, I've been wanting like oversized things too, which I think is a combination of like what's in style right now and just being in a colder climate where I actually purchased a couple sweaters that are more boxy and oversized because I just was really wanting that and didn't have time to knit them. Um, but I think the next sweater I'm going to make is the port sweater
I remember this.
by
Yeah.
I've got a couple of her patterns that I have yarn for, but I'm going to start with this one. Um, and the sample is knit with like a DK and a mohair or a worsted and a mohair or something, but I'm just going to do it with the worsted. This is the other sweater quantity I have of the Knit Picks upcycle.
Mm.
And I was able to get the gauge. So what I ended up doing is I had several patterns in my favorites that are a similar like drop shoulder boxy silhouette. And
Hmm.
I did some gauge swatches to see what gauge I liked. So this was on size 6 on my clover needles. This one was size 6 on my carbons needles. I didn't label it, but this one is the one I ended up liking the best for this yarn. So it was size 7 on my carbons.
Mm.
It's a little bit airier, like, but I think it'll be okay still for it actually might be more wearable because it won't be quite so warm. So we'll see. But anyways, this is the swatch I ended up liking. So then this gauge was like 16 and a half or 17 stitches over 4 inches. So then I looked at like which one of those sweaters with that silhouette was the pattern
Hmm.
gauge
Oh, cool. Yeah.
sport sweater, which I think is 17 stitches to the inch. So anyway, so I've got all that figured out, and probably as soon as I finish my nomad hood, because I forget if I remember to say we're supposed to have a couple days next week that are very cold. And so I was
Hmm.
like, okay, if I make this really fast, then I can wear that hood when it's really cold.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to start on the port sweater.
Fun times. Fun times. That's a good one. I like that pattern. Um, and that's is that Ozetta? I don't want to say the wrong designer.
Ozetta,
That's
yeah.
Ozetta, right? Yeah. I've been contemplating. I might do this one. I'm not sure. I want to check, but I want like a jacket like cardigan, and
Mhm.
she has that Miles one, but then she also
Mhm.
has is the Seasons one her?
Seasons is her, and I have red yarn for that. That's one of the other things I really want to make this year. So
Yeah,
probably after I make the port, because that's more for me. A cardigan is more of a spring thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because several times I've gone out and I've been like, but I want something with pockets. I think this has come up before. I want something with pockets. So we shall see. And I just want it in a basic black,
Right.
really. So, and yeah, so that's what's on my radar. And then Mark told me the other day he needs a brown hat, and I was like, that is music to my
Right.
ear.
Because
and
you're
I
some yarn.
and I have some brown yarn, so that's coming. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think, I mean, we'll see. What I'm trying to do is actually, I have kind of a list of things that I have yarn for, but I'm trying to just go with like, what do I feel like wearing?
Mm-hmm.
Make that.
Yep, that works. That's
Yeah.
the challenge with the cardigan. I really just have fingering weight yarn,
Hmm.
maybe some sport. So I'm like, that's why I've been hesitant because I'm like, oh, I gotta buy some yarn if I want
Yeah.
to make the cardigan.
Yeah. I mean, and like I have no problem making a fingering weight sweater. I've made tons of them, but now that I am living in a colder climate, I'm like, well,
Mm-hmm.
it's nice to make things at a DK pace.
Yeah,
And so I have some sweater quantities of fingering that I'm like, maybe I need
yeah,
to go here. I don't know.
yeah.
But anyways, well, it was great to see all your projects. The good thing about only doing every 2 months is everything is new and exciting, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this felt like an exciting episode for me, catching
Yes.
up and seeing what you've been up to. So,
Yeah. My other project, if you can see it right back there, is I'm trying to propagate some plants. I have this, I've already now forgotten the name of the plant, but I have a like trailing plant and I Googled how to propagate them. And
mm. Is it
it's,
a pothos?
yes, that's what it is. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, and it's been like 3 weeks and they still aren't developing roots. So I'm about to give up, but I'm going to give
Oh,
it
give it more time.
a see.
They might just need a little more
Yeah.
time. Give them more time.
Anyway, well, thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be back
I'll
someday.
be back.
Please
Yeah.
don't say when.
Thanks for your flexibility.
Thank you. And we always enjoy your comments and we'll see you again soon.
All right.
Bye.